All right, guys. So a lot of times in sales, we have to manage expectations. And not only that, we have to manage, exactly how we're approaching our customer. And one of the hardest things to do within that is to know the right level of assertiveness. Like when you first start in sales, a lot of times people like baby out, we call it, right? They back out or somebody gives them an objection and they're just like, okay, here's my business card. Have a good day. It was a pleasure to meet you. Hope to do business with you. Like, you're never going to get business that way, right? It's never going to happen. They see 100 people a day. God even knows how many people a day they see, especially payment processing people coming through the door, right? A lot of people have the same idea as you. There's 20,000 payment processing salespeople in the world, and you have to differentiate yourself. And so, what I like to do is tell agents test your assertiveness. So instead of babying out, lean into maybe even getting a little bit too aggressive to the point where they're like, get out of here, man. And you kind of have to find where that line is. Sometimes, if you're a little bit more assertive, it just demands respect, right? And sometimes you cross that line. Sometimes you toe the line, but then sometimes you slightly cross that line. Don't jump over the line or anything like that, but maybe if you slightly cross the line a couple times, you start to figure out exactly where the business owner's lines are on average, and then you're going to create this average in your brain and say, well, I don't like to cross this line because I know what reaction it's going to invoke. So make sure you embrace that assertiveness and find out where that line is for you, and find out exactly how assertive you need to be in order to get that sale. Now, I'm not saying exactly hard sell somebody. Sometimes that works, but typically that's not going to work for you. So a lot of the reasons why we have so many objections is because you don't have clear communication from the beginning. So also make sure that you're communicating clearly and you're ensuring confidence and comfort into your prospect. You can't be making them feel like wishy-washy, like this guy, like I said, there's something about this guy I just don't like, and they're taken a little bit back by you. That happens sometimes, and that's completely fine in some situations, right? Because it happens once in a while, or your personalities just aren't going to mesh up with this certain prospect, so these things are going to happen. But make sure it's not happening too much, and if you're creating a pattern where these things continually keep happening, you have to make sure that you're working more on your mannerisms and your unconscious communication. So go back to the drawing board, go back to your sales manager, go back to your mirror, go back to your video recorder and get on it, because you don't want to continually keep blowing leads, even though blowing just one or two by getting a little bit too aggressive and testing those lines might be more educational than it is negative. So it might be positive in the long run. Now you know where that line is, and you're like, hey, I can pretty much do everything sure to tell the merchant to screw themselves because I say it in such a nice way. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've had a merchant say, oh, no, I'm not going to give you my merchant statement. I looked at him, I said, I understand, but I'm not asking for your firstborn child here. I'm asking for a merchant statement. Come on, work with me here. I'm another business owner, right? Et cetera, et cetera. I literally said, I used the firstborn child thing there. So if I could get away with that and I actually ended up getting the merchant statement and closing the deal, then I assure you, you can push it a little bit further than you think and still get that deal. Make sure you appeal to logic. Make sure you do a little bit of storytelling in there possibly, because those are even better in the closing frameworks. And we will be teaching you all about how to use stories and comparisons to close deals. See you guys on the next module.